Imagine a man whose songs have made millions of people feel at home, especially during the holiday season. His music played in houses, cars, and shopping streets every year. Yet the man behind the songs had a life filled with battles most of us can barely imagine. This is the story of Chris Rea, the British musician who sang Driving Home for Christmas and touched hearts around the world. Chris was 74 when he passed away, leaving behind a world that feels a little quieter without his music. But what really makes his story remarkable is not just that he died, it is the life he lived, the fights he faced, and the music he created while refusing to give up. Chris was not just a musician, he was a fighter. Years before his death, he faced pancreatic cancer, one of the most dangerous forms of cancer. Doctors told him he might never perform again. His pancreas was removed, a surgery that would have ended most careers. But Chris did something incredible. He got back on the road. He did not just survive, he turned his struggles into music, writing songs full of raw emotion and honesty. Every performance felt like it could be his last, making fans connect with him even more. And if cancer was not enough, life threw another challenge at him. In 2016, Chris had a massive stroke. For a guitarist, losing control of your hands and speech can end your career instantly. But Chris did not let that stop him either. He worked tirelessly to regain control of his fingers, adapted his guitar techniques, and kept performing. Every concert after that carried a special intensity because he knew the value of every note he played. Behind the scenes, Chris had been living with ongoing health struggles. After losing his pancreas, he had to manage digestion issues, low energy, and a weakened immune system. Even minor illnesses could become dangerous. Yet he refused to slow down. His wife, Joan, and his daughters watched him keep creating, performing, and connecting with fans, despite the risks. Meanwhile, his most famous song, Driving Home for Christmas, was becoming more popular than ever. What started as a B-side in 1986 slowly grew into a cultural treasure. It became part of the holiday tradition for millions of people, playing on radios and in stores every December. Chris wrote the song during a difficult time in his life, when he was struggling personally and professionally. His then-girlfriend, Joan, drove him home because he could not drive himself. That small, personal story became the soundtrack of joy and reunion for millions around the world. Chris's life experiences shaped not just this song, but his entire career. His breakthrough album, The Road to Hell, was not just about everyday frustrations. It reflected his thoughts about life, death, and making the most of the time he had. Friends say that even before doctors discovered his cancer, he sensed something was wrong with his health. His later music became more bluesy and reflective, showing the wisdom and urgency of someone who had faced life-and-death challenges. Watching Chris perform after his health struggles is inspiring. Early in his career, he played with skill and precision, but there was a quietness to it. After his battles with cancer and stroke, every performance became an emotional journey. He poured his heart into every note, every lyric. His voice carried a depth that made listeners feel like he had truly lived through the stories he was singing. Even in his final years, Chris was creating new music. He released a Christmas album with songs like Footsteps in the Snow and Joys of Christmas, but friends say he recorded more material that has not been shared yet. These unreleased tracks hold the thoughts and creativity of a man who knew his time was limited but wanted to leave something lasting for his fans. Chris Rea was not just a musician who made hits. He was an artist who refused to follow trends. He stayed true to himself, never letting record companies dictate his style. This independence meant he did not always reach superstar status in every country, but he inspired countless young musicians who admired his authenticity and dedication to music. He also had close friendships that reflected his loyalty and kindness. He teamed up with comedian Bob Mortimer to create a special song for the hometown football club, showing that even in music, Chris valued personal connections over fame. He shared stories of his life with fans, revealing his struggles and triumphs, making his music even more meaningful to the people who loved it. Now, with Chris gone, the world has lost more than a voice. His music, his story, and the way he lived with courage leave a legacy that goes beyond albums and charts. He showed millions of people that even when life seems impossible, you can keep moving forward, creating, and sharing your heart with others. Chris's songs will continue to play in homes, cars, and streets every year, especially during the holiday season. But behind those familiar melodies is a man who fought battles few could imagine. He survived cancer, stroke, and countless other health challenges, and still found the energy to give his best to music and his fans. Every note, every lyric was a gift born from struggle, hope, and determination. For millions, driving home for Christmas is more than a song. It is a story of resilience, love, and the journey of life itself. Chris Rea's music reminds us that even when the road gets tough, we can keep going. His legacy is not just in the melodies he created, it is in the spirit he showed, never giving up, staying true to yourself, and finding joy in the journey. Though Chris is no longer here, his music lives on, touching hearts, inspiring young musicians, and keeping his story alive. Every year, when we hear his songs, we remember the man who kept driving forward no matter what life threw at him. He faced death and hardship with courage, and he turned his pain into art that will last forever. Chris Rea may have reached the end of his road, but his journey continues in every song, every note, and every heart he touched. His story teaches us that life can be hard, but with determination, passion, and love, we can keep moving forward, making our own paths meaningful, just like he did.